Greetings, fellow Whovians, and welcome to Timey Review with an update on this developing news story that's this debacle, this just incredible mess that is going on between an unearthly child, the BBC, and Steph Coburn. As you may have seen on my video a couple of days ago, I mentioned that the son of the writer for An Unearthly Child, or at the very least the 3 episodes of An Unearthly Child, Anthony Coburn, his son Steph Coburn, is basically lobbying against the BBC regarding the intellectual properties of those of that first story. As it was announced on various sources that An Unearthly Child will not be part of the classic episodes of Doctor Who to be uploaded on BBC iPlayer from the 1st of November. So this was broken out on various sources, Radio Times and TV Zone. So I'm just going to quickly scroll through what TV Zone put on there. So basically the very first episode of Doctor Who, An Unearthly Child, will be missing from BBC iPlayer when the BBC adds classic Doctor Who to the platform. The episodes are currently available on BritBox and ITVX via premium subscription. On Unearthly Child, the first 4-part serial starring William Hartnell as the Doctor, was broadcast on Saturday the 23rd of November 1963 and was written by Anthony Coburn. A BBC spokesperson said via Radio Times, this massive iPlayer back catalogue will be home to over 800 hours of Doctor Who content, making it the biggest ever collection of Doctor Who programming in one place, but will not include the first 4 episodes as we do not have all the rights to these. Son of writer Anthony Coburn, Steph Coburn has posted several posts on social media explaining why he's refusing to give the BBC rights to these episodes. He stated, "A while back I cancelled the BBC's licence to show or use in any way my late father's 4 first ever Doctor Who episodes, comprising The Tribe of Gum. Now they offer me pittance to relicense them." He concluded, "So it seems it's the BBC who don't give a damn about the fans. Relative to the exorbitant sums they pay to their celebs, the sum I quoted was not unreasonable. They just informed me by email that they will not now be including the Tribe of Gum in their iPlayer list." Clearly, obviously, a tiny drop in the ocean when it comes to the world's troubles. However, this does kind of suck, especially for the fans of Doctor who were probably going to be gearing up to be watching some classic Doctor Who stories before they go on to the 60th anniversary specials in November. Obviously, this was a huge news by the BBC last week, and from the video that I did, I was very excited by this, and especially all the work that's been going on into these classic stories being sign languaged for the first time. So obviously that was not going to be a very easy project to have taken on. So yeah, in that sort of respect, it does kind of suck. And obviously there's other ways and means. Obviously there's the DVDs. It is on BritBox at the moment via obviously the streaming app, or in the UK by ITVX subscription service. So I've seen on Twitter or X a lot of confusion surrounding why Steph Coburn is happy for Unearthly Child to be on ITVX or /BritBox, because that's partly run by the BBC. So why would you allow that to happen? The reason being is that obviously when BritBox was first launched, it's a joint venture, and still is partially a joint venture between ITV and the BBC. And just to quote from Wikipedia here, so the BritBox service is operated by different entities depending on country of operation. Prior to 2022, the BBC was directly involved in the ownership of the UK service. BritBox outside the UK are operated by BBC Studios, the BBC's commercial subsidiary, due to restrictions, aka the TV licence, funding between domestic and international services. The service in the United Kingdom is wholly owned by ITV. The service was originally a joint venture of the BBC and ITV, Channel 4 Television Corporation and Paramount Networks, UK and Australia, on behalf of Channel 5, offered content for their service in the UK, but took no shares in the joint venture operator. In March 2022, ITV announced that it bought out the remaining stakes of the service it did not already own, and that it planned to integrate the service into an upcoming video on on-demand platform known as ITVX. So basically, in the UK, that is basically ITV's X or ITV's baby. So I can see why Steph has been very happy for them to still have the exclusivity of An Unearthly Child. As I mentioned earlier, Steph Coburn has been taken to Twitter/X a lot. And this was a tweet from a day ago saying, "Since my inheritance of Tony's IP in August of 2013, I have repeatedly given the BBC opportunity to deal fairly, which they have consistently declined to do. As matters stand, they will never again have the right to distribute Tony's episodes. They have only themselves to blame." The longer this continues, the more sort of messier it's going to get, and there's been a lot of sort of information thrown back and forth in terms of like people with like legal expertise. Obviously from the previous video that I did, I've had quite a lot of comments on there in terms of sort of legal sort of rights and ownerships and IP, so thank you for those, because they have been really fascinating reads and very informative comments on there, so I really do appreciate those. And yeah, like I said, there's been a lot of information going around. From one tweet that I read earlier, it said, "If I understood it, the BBC offered some £20,000 to Anthony Coburn's son, who turned that down. He wants more. From what I understand, the BBC can't offer more, as the £20,000 figure is the cap imposed by the union agreement Anthony Coburn signed." And there's just been all sorts, really, in terms of what's been tweeted. Obviously, not obviously from Steph Coburn, and there's been some very questionable tweets from Steph. This one from back in May. He's put, "Should anything untoward happen to me in the meantime, I have taken steps to bequeath all of my father's Doctor Who related IPs to the Russian Federation, who can well afford to prosecute you till the cows come home. Hurt anyone I love and I will simply gift it to them outright." Another tweet from Steph about 24 hours ago, with obviously fans a bit upset that this is happening. It's saying that it's tarnishing his father's legacy. Obviously, you're kicking up a bit of an upset during especially Doctor Who's 60th anniversary. And on one of the tweets he's put, or X, or whatever, what do we call it these days? Let me know in the comments. But basically he put, "Would you plead so with Davros or beg mercy from the Master? I am the Undoctor. I have resented the success of Tony's brainchild, whilst with comma bastard brainchild, while his real children were left bereaved and forgotten by the BBC. All my life, if I could eradicate Doctor Who and the BBC from existence, I would." So yeah, he's not really painting himself a good picture here. Now, I've got sort of no ill will against him. I don't know the guy. Obviously, his tweets are very questionable. There's been some very homophobic and racist rants, especially against obviously new Doctor Who, Ncuti Gatwa as well. Is not very happy that a black man is now going to be in charge of the TARDIS. Can I say TARDIS? So it's he's not really conducting himself. Like I said, I don't know this person, but obviously I don't agree with what he says, especially in terms of the bigotry, the homophobia, and the racism. And if I was him, I probably wouldn't conduct myself like this. If he wants to have this legal fight with the BBC, that I think is between them and the BBC. But the way obviously he's conducting himself on Twitter, it's not something that I would do. And personally, I do feel that it is going to end in tears. And what I don't want, what I do want, obviously, is a peaceful resolution to all of this, because really it is hurting the fans. We should be celebrating other things. We should be getting excited about other things and coming up with Doctor Who, and then this is kind of taken a bit of a precedence. I don't know whether this is more of a coincidence on Steph's part or not, but there was an article by the BBC entitled "Doctor Who how the TV show's first writer became lost in time. And the article sort of goes on about Anthony Coburn's contribution to the first 4 episodes of the sci-fi drama, and how there is a campaign to erect a memorial to Anthony Coburn in his hometown of Herne Bay in Kent, which is gathering pace a month ahead of the show's 60th anniversary. So, you know, you kind of got that happening, and then Steph steamrolling in with obviously what he wants to do as well. And yeah, it's sad. It is. There's no two ways about it. It's with sadness, and like I said, you know, I'm sure there was fans looking forward to catching up or binge watching a lot of Classic Who. Well, not just new fans, all Doctor Who fans catching up and binge watching on Classic Who on BBC iPlayer. And obviously we're going to be asked to start with the Daleks. Again, not the hugest end of the world, but it kind of does suck. But I was kind of thinking, really, obviously there was the very first episode of An Unearthly Child was written by C.E. Weber. Now, does that mean the BBC have rights to that particular first episode? Because there was a pilot. There was 2 first episodes made, and I'm assuming was broadcast. If not, the pilot was broadcast. The original pilot was broadcast back in the 1990s as part of BBC celebration of Lime Grove Studios. And obviously that's included on this DVD as well. So could the BBC kind of get around this by putting the pilot episode on BBC iPlayer? Who knows? We'll have to just watch the space on that one. Whether An Unearthly Child does eventually make its way onto BBC iPlayer, it is a case of just wait and see, I think, and just see how this whole story plays out. You know, it's fascinating, but it is, like I said, it's sad. I think I said in my video on Sunday that I thought the BBC won't be quaking in the boots just yet, but obviously they've taken the decision to remove or not add the Unearthly Child onto their streaming platform come November. I don't know whether this is just more of a precaution from the BBC, whether, you know, until all their legal advisories, you know, go over the fine tooth comb on whether this has any sort of legs to go to court, or whether, you know, Steph Coburn has anything to stand on against the rights on this. And again, it could go in 2 ways. You know, it could go to court and could all end in tears, and or it could be another way. Would the BBC offer him some money to do that? The only sort of thing about that is, if that happens, then would that, you know, include other writers as well? You know, would other writers go, hey, I wrote this story of Doctor Who, I want some of my money, or my father did this, or my mum did that? And, you know, it could be opening up another can of worms in that sense. At the moment, it is a bit of a hornet's nest, and it is quite messy. Obviously, I'll try and update you as much as I can, my fellow Whovians, as these stories develop. But as I said, I think it is a bit of sadness, obviously, with it happening so close to the 60th anniversary of this fantastic show. I do think it's going to end in tears, one way or the other. Personally, I want a peaceful resolution on this and a happy resolution for this one, because anything like this, you know, it's going to take a toll on people physically and mentally, and, you know, that's something that I don't really want to see. Hopefully it won't come to that. Like I said, I hope it becomes something of a peaceful and happier resolution in the days to come. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts to this developing story, and obviously what you think about An Unearthly Child not being on BBC iPlayer come November. Obviously, will you be watching it on ITVX, or will you be watching Blu-ray copies? DVD copies. Or actually, let's do something quite nice. What is your favourite classic Doctor Who story as well? What are you looking forward to watching first on BBC iPlayer? Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please like, share and subscribe if you have. That will really help out this channel. And thank you for those who are supporting this channel. And particularly the last video that I did. I got quite a lot of views on that. truly appreciate it. And thank you for those that have liked and shared and commented on there. Please continue to do so if you can. Hit that cloister bell for more notifications. Come say hello and follow me on X and Facebook. And do check out my other fantastic Doctor related content on TikTok. And of course, right here on the Time Wimey Review YouTube channel. And as the good doctor once said, will someone tell me what the hell is going on?